Well, it's that time when we review the papers around the world. We start as usual with our sister publication, This Day newspaper. Let's see what this day it has in front of its front page. NLC absent as FG TUC agree on wage increase, the cushion effect of subsidy removal. Quite a load of riders, but I'll just take some. Trade Union Center presents list of demands to government. FG demands not impracticable to set up tripartite committee. Parties to reconvene tomorrow to finalize discussion. NNPC lacks power to fix petrol price. NLC is insisting. Maintains there's appropriation for subsidy till end of June. We're still on the 5th day of June. Declares no division among its members ahead of strike. Those are just some of the riders there. Let's look at some other stories. NNPC ends crude swap contracts with foreign refiners. Two riders there. Says private marketers may resume petrol importation this month. Ipman for subsidy removal to make sense. FG must break national oil companies' monopoly on importation. I think he has said that already, that NNPC will no longer be the sole importer of this particular product. I'm talking about Melekere, the GCEO. Ebenezer Onyago emerges best banking CEO in Africa and International Banker Awards. And PwC, why local refining won't crush fuel prices. We're watching to see.
The Punch leads with the subsidy story, says NLC shuns federal government meeting. Electricity workers back strike. NLC force negotiation team, Lagos Nasarawa state chapters join strike. TUC demands salary increase. Fuel importers seek equal access to Forex. Above the nameplate this morning, Senate queries Accountant General over 910 billion naira MDA loan. Trapped funds, foreign airlines plan meeting with federal government. PDP wants Tinubu to make asset declaration public. And the picture leading the front page of the Punch this morning is that of aides of outgoing members of the National Assembly moving their personal belongings out of their offices ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly scheduled for June 13 in Abuja. A few other stories here. OPEC raises Nigeria's output as Saudi Arabia cuts production. 18 die in Kano crash. FRSC boss warns against overloading. NDLEA seizes 390 kilogram illicit drugs in 4 states. The front page of the Punch this morning.
Let's look at the Sun. The Sun newspaper. All right. Fuel subsidy. NLC boycotts talks with FG. Insist on Wednesday strike. Some riders, their absence surprising, but differences will be resolved soon. Coming from Alake, TUC demands increase in minimum wage, tax holiday, and other stocks to continue on Tuesday. FG to raise tripartite committee. Fuel subsidy. Ipman hails federal government over approval for private importers, says prices will crash. All right, let's see. Sit at home. Bishops honor Chukwuma. Enugu Town unions back Governor Mba on sit at home in Enugu. NDLEA destroys 3 tons of skunk in a Edo forest, seizes 76.9 kilograms loud from Canada, and just beside the Sun logo there. NAS leadership on SND tasked Southeast lawmakers to vote with discretion. Group mobilizes support for Kano, and their anxiety military over expected appointments of new service chiefs. 300 generals, admirals, AVM risk retirement.
The Guardian reports it this way on the front page. Autogas stalls as NNPC. Marketers bicker over 500 billion naira debt. Prorated fuel cost. Darkness looms as electricity workers may shut down national grid. And why Tinubu has not appointed a spokesperson. The Guardian also has a story on that. It is also focusing on the Lagos State governor. It says 7 days into second term, Sanwo-Olu yet to make appointments. Nigeria broadband penetration drops as telcos lose 2.5 million voice customers. This and many more you can find on the front page of The Guardian.
Have you taken Tribune?
No.
All right. Tribune, before we go to the international papers. Again, subsidy removal. TUC makes demands. FDM set up committee to review minimum wage. Adeleke dissolves 7th Assembly to inaugurate 8th Assembly tomorrow. Trapped funds. Nigeria tops most indebted countries globally. What other story here? Tinubu opposition lawmakers meeting postponed. Why sacked auxiliary as PMS boss? That is coming from Makinde. Okay, let's move to international newspapers.
Well, The Guardian UK reports a claim from the Trade Union Congress that Tory austerity left Britain hugely unprepared for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Newspaper, Generation AI, most fearful of losing their jobs to robots. 52% of young adults aged 18 to 24 are concerned that artificial intelligence systems will damage their employment prospects, a survey for I reveals, compared with 39% of the rest of the population. And so we bring in Emmanuel Bello. Emmanuel, good morning to you this Monday morning.
Good morning, indeed.
All right, let's start with this day. It says NLC absent as the federal government and TUC agree on wage increase to cushion effects of subsidy removal. Of course, there are some riders there. The fact that the Trade Union Center presents list of demands to the federal government and parties are reconvening tomorrow. These are some of the riders we have there. And then MPC ends crude swap contracts with foreign refiners.
Well, yeah, it's Monday morning, and this day we normally lead with a very bright, beautiful, business story, and this business as well. And it's a story that is capturing the attention of all editors. I mean, everybody looking at some kind of angles to the crisis itself, the huge, subsidy removal issue. I think that's the only thing that everyone seems to be talking about. And of course, newspaper are basically a reflection of what is going on in the larger society. So it's the mirror of the society, and that's what everyone is talking about. You are affected by it, or you know someone is affected. But basically, all of us are really right now talking about this everywhere. And what are the things people are talking about? They are talking about what Labour is planning to do, what the federal government has done, whether there's a way out. And indeed, you don't have to be, an economist like Adesua to understand that everyone is trying to.
I tell you she's an economist.
I think she's very good at crunching down the figures and the numbers. But that is it. You don't even have to be some kind of analyst, economic to understand the nature of the problem. Basically, that this subsidy, experts have agreed that they should go. But on the other hand, is the problem of how to cushion the effects of this removal. I think that is where governments have found themselves, especially this government that has been charged for hypocrisy at one time, saying that the removal of subsidy will increase the cost of living and all the other suffering. So the question is, why is it doing it now? I think that is what's made this a very difficult period for this government, because at one time it can be quoted so clearly where Tinubu said that removals will cause the sort of problem we are beginning to face now. Transportation is so high up there. I don't know whether goods and services also have goods have affected it. But you'll be sure that yes, especially from this week, if we thought things were difficult in the past or hard, it just became a little bit more harder. And I think that's why I think the strike action by Labour seem to be enjoying a lot of support from also the people. Electricity workers are going to join. The electricity workers saying they will join this strike is almost like
that one is dangerous.
It's close to being funny, because I mean, They've been on strike as far, yes, they've been on strike as far as I'm concerned in the last 15 years. So yeah, that's what I mean. So they're saying they are going to join this strike. It's funny.
Don't
but then,
say that. When they go on strike, they
will just take away the little blinkers we're having now and all of that. But a big one is the one that's coming Wednesday. Labour seem to be in some kind of disagreement with the TUC. TUC is always doing that, trying to be the big. The big voice in the room, where they try to say, look, whether we can look at other things. For instance, they are thinking palliatives such as increase in worker salary would be a better option than going on a total strike. NLC will not have any of that. They shunned the meeting, they didn't attend it, and they are set for strike on Wednesday.
But NLC is specific to say that we must return to status quo before we continue negotiations. And the president has been speaking, Joe Ajaero, on purported division within the NLC. But Emmanuel, how effective really do you think that the strike may be? And I use the word maybe because both parties are reconvening on Tuesday, 24 hours before the intended Wednesday strike by the NLC.
My take on that strike at this way is that sometimes it doesn't really, get much out other than, of course, it's an expression of, disgust, expression of and frustration and annoyance and all that. So that might be the value of it. Speaking to some people yesterday, they were really not thinking, they didn't think these strikes are going to change anything. It seems as if the federal government is already set on this, made up its mind about this. But I think the strike will address issues of the palliative, for instance. It will address the issue of openness and transparency. And they need to do more to cushion the effects of this subsidy removal. So beyond that, it's hard to say or to think, to know what this protest will lead to. We've seen protests in the past, maybe really heavy protests. But now the electricity workers will join in this protest. The judiciary workers are planning to join. I don't know whether health workers are joining too, but if it leads to some kind of general paralysis of everything that is supposed to happen in the country, just maybe someone will be thinking twice about it. But I think at the end of the day, it's just you and I, this one, that get hurt by these strikes, because those who are making this decision sometimes are really unfeeling or uncaring even what happens with the strike. So there are people who tell you that probably we should think of some other ways of dealing with this crisis other than just addressing them with strikes. But then strike have always been ways where the civil force have addressed issues, whether it's here or elsewhere. People have picketed in the past and made demands to change situations. So we'll wait to see how all-encompassing, how all-embracing these strikes will be. But there are Nigerians who are thinking, well, maybe we should just roll with punches, because I don't know what Indy will say to this. The truth of the matter is that we've always lamented and bickered around the issue of fuel subsidy. We say nobody needs it. We say it's not needful. We say we need a government that has the goodwill to take it away. So what's changed now? If this is what we've always asked for, if we've always said that fuel subsidy should be removed, that no one is benefiting from this subsidy, I wonder why we're so angry now.
No one is benefiting from it. There are actually people who benefit from it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we the masses weren't benefiting from it.
They're very tiny. It's in relation to how it affects almost everything that the people depend on. That's always been the problem. But let's talk about this sit at home in Enugu. Interesting, it seems. The governor immediately said companies that obeyed will be shut. So Bishop Ona Chukwuma and unions are backing the governor. And then there's the question of NDLEA destroying 3 tons of skunk in a doe forest. And then, of course, you go to newspaper where it talks about AI and the dangers. You just have about 30 seconds to do that.
Oh, well, okay. The destruction of those, the NDLA, the work of NDLA is something that should be commendable. But you see that number, almost mind-boggling numbers of the skunk and the Canadian loud that they had to destroy. It tells you how endemic the problem of drug intake has become. Is this a sign of how frustrated the young people or even older people are becoming taking drugs of this magnitude? And look at what has been destroyed. The AI story is very interesting. People worried now that robots will take away their jobs. We've always expressed those concerns. That tells you the danger of technology and everything. Of course, people have always attacked any kind of new light, new technology. But I think it's difficult to take away the human factor from all of this. I think human beings are still going to be very relevant, even in the technology robot age.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello, for your analysis every morning. We do appreciate it. And that's the press review as well as the Daybreak. You can follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. Get the latest on our website at arise.tv.